So in this video we're going to run a cut job without registration marks using our UCT tool on our JWEI JCut Cutter. So the very first thing that I need to do is ensure that I have got my UCT tool in the K position, which I have. I've also identified that I've got the correct blade in there, which I've got the J311-1, and it's obviously sharp and it hasn't been broken or anything. I've identified as well that it is the correct blade for this type of material, and this is just like a cardboard. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to do the tool depth on that tool, and I also need to do my vacuum zones. So I'm going to go into JWEI. I'm going to go down to the tool depth there. I'm going to ensure that I've got the correct tool. Now you'll see that I've only got knife and router, and that's because I currently also have a V-cut tool set up in position K1, and the V-cut tool does not use the automatic height detection pads on the table, so it doesn't give us the option for the tool height. So I'm going to click on tool depth button. That's then going to move my head over to the tool depth, and it's going to do the tool height for me. Now the K position will always do its tool depth on this one over here. It will not use that one. So K will always use this, K1 and K2, or the router will use this one. Now I've done that, I'm just going to move the head back again using the arrow keys. Now I need to identify my suction zones. So at the moment, my job here, or my material here, is covering, or at least over, position 1, 2 and 3. Now these suction zones finish at the break of the table there. So that's where the two tables join. So for a job like this, that'll be absolutely fine. I'm going to have all three front positions open, and that will hold down this type of material, no problems. Now if I was routing, I might want to spin that around, so it's just utilising either the first one or the first two, and that means that you're going to get better suction on our job. So I need to tell JWEI that that's what I'm doing, so I'm going to go down to suction window, which is just here. I'm going to ensure then that these are correct. Now this is 1, 2 and 3, which as I said is 1, 2 and 3 on our table here, and then the back ones are 4, 5 and 6, which are 4, 5 and 6 at the back. Blue means on, grey means off, and I just need to click them like that. So this is correct currently, so that's good, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go back to operation window at the bottom. Now I need to set a temporary origin to say where I'm going to start cutting from on my material. So easiest way of doing that is I like to use my orange arrow key, and that's going to fire then the head over to the front without me having to hold down on the arrows. That also gives me my origin position. So that is the extreme corner of this table, so I cannot cut around this area or this area, it's only inside that cross. So using my arrow keys now, I'm going to move it across, I'm going to move it up, I'm going to get it onto my material just like that, where I'm happy to start cutting. And that's where I want to start cutting on this one. So I'm then going to go to my temporary origin button, which is just here. I'm going to click that, and what that's going to do is it's going to move this laser point cross here to where my purple pencil is. So I'm going to click that. That's now underneath the purple pencil. I can see that because if I use my arrow keys to move it out of the way, there you go, you can see that there. Now if I press my red button in the middle, which is now available, it will actually now snap the head straight back to that position on there. So I now know that my tool depth is done correctly, my suction zones are done correctly, and I have a temporary origin in position. So as far as JWEI is concerned, that's all done in there. So the next thing I need to do is go to my OptiScout. I now need to set up a job in OptiScout. So I'm going to go File Import, and I'm going to go to my desktop where I have my JWEI toolbox. I'm going to go Test Files, and then I'm just going to choose a Batman cut. Now I can see a little preview of it down there because I have the preview checked, so I'm going to press Open, and there we go. Now what I'm going to do is just going to do a bit of a rotation on it so I know it's the right way around, and I'm going to zero the job by literally clicking it in the middle and then moving it around. Now, if you'd like to, you can also zero up here by just typing in 0, 0 and pressing enter. So that's now set up as a cut file, but we haven't actually assigned any materials to it or done any settings. So we're going to go to our material library up here. Going to go to our little green tab, which opens up our full library. And then I'm going to navigate to Invercoat, which is what this material is. Click it once, press apply. That's now set up. Now you'll see it's automatically applied UCT to that cut layer, and that's because the UCT is locked or linked to the cut layer. So when we use the cut spot color, which this has on it, it's going to automatically link that UCT to it. Now if it hasn't, it will come up like this and it will say select method, which is fine because all we need to do is click there and go UCT and say that that is what we're going to cut this with. Now I'm going to check my settings. So I'm going to go to edit. So I'm looking at what sort of speeds I've got. So this is fairly quick, a little bit too quick. So rapid speed is how fast it's going when it's not cutting. That's fine at 1,000. This is speed down. So this is how fast it's going when it is cutting. I'll probably say about 750 for this material. I'm going to update that as well and save it. Lift and lowering is how fast the tool comes up and down. So 1,000 is absolutely fine on this. Position up is how high the tool is going to sit when it's not cutting. So it's basically this position right now. So I don't want it to be all the way up there. I only want it to be 5 mil or a few mil above my material. But you've got to incorporate the material thickness in that. So if it's 10 mil material on the bed, you need to be doing it at 15 mil, for example. Then we've got Z position down. Now this is added depth on our job. So I've got quite a lot on that at the moment. So I'm just going to put that at 0.2. I know that this material requires a little bit, so normally we start at 0 and then we work our way down. And then all of these ones are all about overcutting, which I don't need on this job. Going to press apply. That's now done, so now I need to output it. So I'm going to go output to device, just there. And then settings in here, I'm going to check so everything looks okay in there at the moment. I'm going to press output. And that's now going to send our job to our cutting table. There we go. So you can see that's cut that out absolutely fine. And there you go. So that's how we cut a job without using registration marks on our JWEI JCut Cutter.